All right, and we're off. That's an early bombos.
Yeah, interesting to see that each of these runners opted to start in different starting points. So far, Asmadi finding the better of two items. I'd say I'd rather start with a bombos than 20 rupees. But I mean, you got to spend a lot in Kakariko and a bunch of other places, so you never know. That 20 could go a long way.
Yeah, and that bombos isn't going to be as useful. It'll basically grant us access to Ice Palace and potentially Eastern or Swamp and Mire, depending on what those are. You can't really use it without a sword in Swordless, except for a few set locations. That was a pretty good bomb drop from that crab.
For sure, definitely a great find, as Kohrek's probably going to be heading towards Kakariko. Just a heart piece in the Lumberjack Cave. Probably won't be coming back for that. And we got a shield over when we drain the dam over there for Asmadi.
Indeed. And this being hard difficulty, you're probably going to see the runners probably grab whatever hearts they can if they show up. Simply just because there's just way less health in the pool. There's a Canis Samaria. It's not going to provide us any invincibility except in a few places, but it'd still be a viable weapon in some cases.
And that's a lift upgrade down in this little thief hideout in the Lost Woods. Kohrek's gonna be happy finding that. And I think Asmadi saw a piece of heart on the Lake Hylia Island. We'll see if they go back for that. Like you mentioned, health is much more limited in this seed, being that it's hard. But yep. Asmadi heads east as Kohrek heads south into Kakariko.
Under normal circumstances, actually, I wouldn't mind Asmadi's routing here, simply because he could potentially find items that he could turn in Kakariko, like the bottle, shovel, etc. Flute. In this case, the Thieves' hideout was kind of loaded here. We have our Dark World access.
And a lantern for good measure.
So at 2 minutes, 50 seconds, we have our Dark World access.
Now, one thing that Asmadi pulled out of a chest in Sahasrala's little storage unit in the back was a green rupee with a 20 next to it. I think because this is hard mode, that replaces certain items when you see that instead of like just a regular red rupee. I'm not sure what it was though, because I know some items, like all the swords, are in the pool, even though they won't get some of them in the end.
It's probably a sword. So I think like a red rupee would be. Plus, we wouldn't have gotten to a point where there would be a hard mode item that we wouldn't get yet, because in hard difficulty we're limited to the blue tunic. We don't get any access to swords, and we're also limited in our shield upgrades as well.
Yeah, and I honestly just, in these 3 minutes since we started, I forgot. This is swordless, so that could have very well easily have been a sword had this, had swords in the seed in the first place.
So Asmadi is now going to go through some of the checks that Kohrek has already gone through.
Both of them well-equipped bombs-wise, which is very good for Kakariko, just because you got so many different walls you got to explode to lead to a couple different checks throughout the village.
Well, there's the flute.
Our runners are probably going to want to come back for that once they get boots. I don't know, maybe just at least to get to Misery Mire. Probably a couple other mobility reasons too.
It'll just be really a question of where the boots show up.
And if it's anything like the last seed I commentated, then boots are going to be on pedestal. I don't think it's going to happen this time around, but really, you never know.
Yeah, Kohrek is going to check the back half of the escape with those gloves.
Yeah, that plus the lantern means that the one chest in the dark part of the sewers isn't logic. I know a lot of runners in this tournament probably don't even need the lantern for these dark rooms, but even if they don't need it, that little cone of light definitely comes in handy.
You'll have to go through the front half, though, to get to it.
My brain might be on key sanity mode right now or something then.
Yeah, so both of our runners now have Dark World access. It's just going to be a matter of who really uses it first.
With 3 hearts, though, like, the thought of going into Dark World this early seems a little intimidating to me.
I suspect that they're probably going to get their Light World checks out of the way, or at least the big ones. Just like so much is now open, especially if you're willing to take the risk and dive into some Dark World locations with low hearts.
The quickest Dark World dip I could see anyone checking would be Hype Cave, since it's a nice 5 items while also being just south of your house, where Asmadi just came out of, but does not seem to be heading towards.
Oh yeah, Asmadi is definitely checking the front half of escape here. It's a good call.
Kohrek using those bombs to take out the mini Moldorms in this cave, finding a blue rupee, a red rupee, a heart piece, a bloomerang, and the single arrow.
To put it in perspective, he has 33% more health. Which is kind of big in hard mode. We're not going to find a whole lot of heart containers.
I gotta say, for how early we are in this race, the divergence between these runners' routing is quite insane. Probably a nature of the open seedness of this, as well as just the fact that so much is already open to them items-wise, too.
Yeah, this Sphere 1 has been a very generous Sphere 1. Oh, there's our boots.
Well, that flute's got to be on Asmadi's mind pretty quick here. Want to get that soon, they can fly all the way around Hyrule nice and easy.
Kohrek set up the fake flippers. Gonna get probably some of these flipper checks out of the way, especially with having the Moon Pearl. They can use a water walking glitch inside the fairy fountain here to get these 2 checks that normally he wouldn't be able to get this early.
And Kohrek is financially set to see what King Zora has to offer here too, which is really good, so he can find out what's on the ledge and also Pay off Zora, not have to leave that behind. Just a blue rupee up there, though. Nothing too special. And Asmadi takes a death. Pretty sure it was a death warp just to get out of that prison cell. A little much quicker than backtracking.
Yep. And Asmadi also did find our second 20 rupees, indicating that's the second sword that our runners will not be seen. And Kohrek gets a 10% return on his investment to Zora. That sneaky fish.
Honestly, not the worst deal I've seen. It looks like Kohrek might be doing that hype cave check we were talking about earlier, as there is a key in the sewers chest as Mari just went by.
Alright, what are we feeling for this hype cave? I think with so much open right now, it doesn't feel like this will probably have a whole lot, but I might be eating my words here.
I think we're going to find the last would-be sword upgrade. That's the wrong 20. Whoops.
That heart container for hard mode, I'd give that one like a 3 out of 10, 4 out of 10 maybe. A bit more than you would just with hard mode.
Oh, Asmadi's putting those boots to good use. Gonna see what's in these bonk rocks here left of the sanctuary.
Those boots are made for dashing. And old Stumpy just gives up a big 20.
Kohrek's just raking in that cash money over here. Jeez. Asmadi takes no hesitation activating that flute, and it looks like Kohrek is heading in a very similar direction to find those boots. Going to be very happy with that find, assuming they continue with the escape sequence, which I would think most likely after heading into the castle probably will happen.
Asmadi looks like is going to pick up some loot out of the health cave.
Yeah, these runners just swapping checks right now. Kind of taking turns. You go here, I go there. Now switch.
So to like fill in with people who are just joining us, this is an all dungeons race, open state, swordless on hard difficulty.
Now, one little extra reminder about that all dungeons piece, that also includes Aga 1 up in the castle tower. So I know it just shows the crystals and pendants up in that little thing we got up top, the little notations. But yeah, I gotta remember that's an extra dungeon we will be seeing too.
Yeah, cannot use bombos without a sword.
But we found enough upgrades. They're not upgrades, they're just money.
And that's Kohrek's second non-sword.
And is Kohrek heading up Death Mountain? Is that what I'm seeing here? Or are we taking a stop at the box first?
Well, unless he lucks out, there's really not a whole lot he can check up there. He can rescue the old man, and there's another check on top of Spectacle Rock Cave. He's with a lot more to do. I don't see him doing that right now. Yeah, and he's not going there.
Probably going to grab that flute first, actually. Yeah, that makes sense. Although, you got to remember that inside Spectacle Rock does have one of those hint tiles, one of those new features we have in this version of Randomizer.
Oh, that is very true. But Asmadi is going to Village of Outcasts.
Gotta be a little careful with half a heart left, though.
Yeah, and the hitbox on that hammer is deceptively small. If you're not careful, you could end up getting hit. Something about a duck and it going amok.
I'm digging the rhymes. Interestingly, we have yet to see a map check by either runner. Although, due to the fact that this is all dungeons, whatever prizes at the end of each dungeon becomes a little less relevant now.
Yeah, it's literally going to be finish it, go for it. It could only become relevant if the pedestal becomes into play, but even then, if the pedestal's in play, you're probably already going to finish those dungeons anyway.
Kohrek seeing that Quake Medallion up on Desert Ledge. And Asmadi checking this last chest of Thieves Town, finding a shovel.
Asmadi's digging that find.
And I'm digging that I got to see a Sheik sprite when Zelda got bunny beamed over there.
Asmadi also kind of knows where all the health is in this dungeon under pots. Kind of making a small detour to get some health.
And Kohrek deciding it is worth taking the time to bring this old man up this way here, getting that save spot and then getting those couple checks you mentioned.
Yeah, so there's two item locations that are accessible. The Old Man and Spectacle Rock Cave. And then we'll also get a hint.
Speaking of hints, Asmadi doesn't hit the switch, so they can read this hint tile over here up in the upstairs of Thieves Town once they get a couple of these bats out of the way.
It's a secret to everybody. The green text and the link face indicating that that is in fact a joke. Allegedly.
I was going to say, so it's not a secret? We know where everything is?
Kohrek knows his bonk prizes. Get some apples out of the tree to get some health.
And we got blue mail in Thieves Town, which is the only mail upgrade we will be seeing. So we'll find out if Kohrek finds that same mail upgrade or finds it elsewhere, because both mail upgrades are in logic, but once you acquire one, the other one stops being a mail upgrade and you're stuck at blue.
Yeah, Asmadi has to really be careful. Only on one heart.
Actually, no, I correct that. It looks like there is only one mail in the pool in hard mode. Pardon me.
Yeah, and based on Kohrek opening up TT, he's probably going to go in there really soon.
Unfortunately, I haven't been keeping track of item checks on Asmadi's side in Thieves Town, but I see that we don't have a key yet, so I'm wondering if the key will have itself locked in the big chest, in which case we won't even need to visit that left side and the downstairs of Thieves Town here.
We'll know here in just a second. Well, there's our answer.
Alright, so I just saw Kohrek just found the compass in this front area of Thieves Town, and Asmadi found the map in the little prison cell, which means that we will be finding an item dropped by Blind up ahead here.
5 heart hammer blind, here we go. Can't use the blue cane for invisibility. Oh no.
That is rough.
Yeah, Asmadi's gonna nope out. I mean, now that blind is off script, it's going to be a lot more difficult to defeat him a second time, or the second attempt. So unless blind has progression, this will probably serve him.
So yeah, after Kohrek traces all of Asmadi's steps, we'll see how they fare against Blind. Meanwhile, Asmadi finishes up the Village of Outcasts checks here.
On hard difficulty, the blue cane does not grant invincibility, so can't use that against blind to make the fight easier.
It would still damage Blind, though, correct, if they wanted to do that?
Correct.
Not to say that is a good way to go about fighting Blind. It was just double check.
Yeah, it'd be a lot more difficult, just because you're going to take damage from blind while you're trying to do it.
All right, let's see where Asmadi's off to next here. Ah, it's their turn to flute their way up the mountain and find out what old man's gonna bring them. And you see all these little extra pit stops runners are taking as they pick up the pots and stuff just to get those extra hearts, just because they don't want to die from any little thing, especially with how low their health is and they're already doing Dark World stuff.
Oh, Kohrek knows he needs every single heart container in order to fight blind.
Alright, let's sneak a peek, see what we got on top of Spectacle Rock.
Alright, Kohrek is fighting blind. Really doing a good job keeping him on script. There we go.
And on Asmadi's side, the hint tile just said the boots are in the castle. We already knew that. Come on, tile, be better.
So blind only had 5 rupees, so that's not going to hurt Asmadi right now.
Gonna make use of that Thieves Town shovel, though, to find flippers!
Alright, we got ourselves some swimwear.
I'm liking this use of flippers to get up to Ice Rod Cave rather than dashing up with boots. Kind of avoids all the enemies, especially because you don't have a sword out in front of you while you're dashing.
Alright, on Kohrek's side, we are getting our first look in Skull Woods. Skull Woods only has 2 items in it, but they could prove to be valuable.
So far, no dice, just merely finding keys and a compass, only dungeon items. So 2 items are still in here, but we can only have access to 1 more chest location. So there's at least 1 item in the back half that is a fire rod locked.
And it's everybody's favorite room. But Kohrek makes it look easy.
I mean, just some bombs for Kohrek's trouble in Skullwoods. We are running out of spots to check here, actually. Getting kind of close. I know we can go inside Eastern. We haven't gone in there yet. I'm wondering, any idea what else we got left here?
Eastern? I'm sure I'm missing something here.
Well, with the hammer and gloves, they can go into the Dark World on the east side, too, I suppose. But that's pretty dangerous. Now, Kohrek did fake flippers earlier. I don't know if they did a hobo, though, so we might get a little high five under the bridge here.
mean, we could be looking at pod as well. Pyramid is open. Catfish is open.
Well, that's right. Kohrek brought the old man up the mountain, but immediately noped off. So, looks like they'll be doing their quick mountain checks here.
Yeah, Kohrk's about ready to be told where his boots were at.
Man, Asmadi's thinking Eastern here.
I mean, both pod and Eastern are both equally well. So pod has more items in it, but it could easily be bow locked. And if it's bow locked, we're not gonna be able to get any far, even with doing a potion unlock glitch, the camera unlock glitch. So this is one of the few caves where the blue cane will indeed work.
Is that our last sword upgrade Asmadi just found in the first chest of Eastern?
I don't see anything new on Kohrek's menu.
And just a compass for check number 2 as Madi continues, and Kohrek's thinking Dark World.
Oh boy.
That's lift upgrade number 2, the Titan's Mitts on Pyramid Ledge.
So that opens up Ice Palace.
Mire area too.
And Kohrek's also going to give us a check of the other angry fish. And on Asmadi's side, unless this is a vanilla bow, we're going to be pretty much done here in Eastern. Yeah, grab that. This is hard mode. You don't want to leave health behind if you can help it.
That bug net though that Asmadi found on their side in the big chest, not quite as beneficial, at least for its standard use. Unfortunately, it has a few holes in it, and it cannot catch fairies.
I don't think it shoots arrows either.
Very true. All right, here comes that Mire area check. Let's see what Medallion's locking us out. Is that Bombos?
Looked like it. I'll see it on the instant replay here in just a second. It was really fast. And maybe Bombos?
Pretty sure it was, but these runners like to give like little quick glances and give our eyes a run for their money. If it was, Kohrek did have boots, so could have gone in. Maybe didn't feel like it was worth the risk at the moment.
Yeah, so on Kohrek's tracker, it is in fact marked as Bombos for Mire.
I'm liking this tree bonk knowledge I'm seeing on Kohrek's side. Just knew that there would be a magic refill there, so bonks the tree and gets a full magic refill. Because we're swordless, we don't get hammer dashes across these pegs. Hurts to watch a little.
Yeah, hammer dash only works when you have a sword, which is something you don't have in swordless.
And Asmadi about to be very pleased with their pyramid ledge check up ahead here.
Alright. Asmadi's opting out of going up to check catfish.
And Kohrek giving the Smiths a quick glance down on Hyrule from up high on Death Mountain. I feel like that's a little bit of sightseeing that the Smith doesn't typically get on his world tour. Is this
boy.
the Ice Palace play?
I think it's time for some ice. But I think he's gonna buy some bombs first.
Yeah, this is a new feature of the latest version that arrow and bomb upgrades are no longer dispersed among all the chest locations. Rather, they're back in their vanilla location, the ferry within Lake Hylia, and you just have to purchase the upgrades. The upgrades, I believe, are more expensive in hard mode, and you can't get as many. Is that correct?
I'm not sure. I have to go look that up. So you have to, the freezer has to be out first. So those tiles that you see, so swordless, those tiles are the only places where you can use bombos. A unique item is in the dark.
I was wondering where Asmadi was heading. Asmadi decides it's time to begin the world tour for Frog here. Save and quit. It's out. Same thing, just not having Mire. That's what we got to do to bring him back home. Now, do you think we're still going to see an Ice Palace bomb jump here? I know a lot of people, or at least the way I learned it, I tend to align it using the sword, but this is swordless, so you have to use different cues here.
I think he'll be fine. I've done it swordless before. And I think he will do the bomb jump simply because he does not have Samar yet.
That definitely makes sense. And that tile said some caches above the post. I believe that refers to Graveyard Ledge, so there's no need to go there.
Yep. Yeah, a little harder to line up, but it's not too bad. There we go. First time, every time.
Excellent use of bombs just to clear that room nice and quick.
Yeah, you can see why he bought bombs. For that specific reason. You're going to be using a lot of them here.
Remembers to trigger the enemies before setting off Bombos this time, so we're going to get a nice new chest spawn here. See what we find. Just a red rupee. Oh, on Asmadi's side, we're finishing off the Smith loop by getting purple chest delivered. What are we going to find here? Just a heart container. Good to have. Definitely need that extra health, but unfortunately not progress. Ooh, and misses the ride from the duck because they had a rock in their hands.
Alright, so he's going down to the basement to grab some fairies on Kohrek's side.
Definitely a good call. Asmadi thinking it's time to get some revenge on Blind here. Got some more health, feeling pretty confident.
Now, Asmadi won't have the script this time, but we'll have to see how that pans out.
Yeah, hopefully Asmadi's into improv here. They have to make it up as they go and still make success out of it.
Alright, there's two heads. Oh, yeah, he's probably fine. There we go. We're going to see a bomb jump on Kohrek's side. This is one of the more difficult ones to line up, but he makes it look easy.
Yeah, on Korek's side, we just saw another hint. It wasn't too useful. It said, I believe, a unique item is in the Thieves' hideout, but we've already checked all that stuff, so it doesn't really matter.
Yep. That room Kohrek was just in is also another place where the blue cane works.
All right, once again, I haven't been counting items, but looking at the fact that we're back at this big chest, probably still looking for a couple more things before getting out of Ice Palace.
He did find a blue potion. In hard difficulty, that restores 7 hearts and half of your magic meter. They'll probably actually need to use... No, wait, he should have enough magic. But this cold stare fight is going to be a little hairy.
I mean, the timing of that blue potion find, I'm definitely not complaining.
Oh, yeah. He may need to make use of it. We'll see how this works out.
And we just saw 10 arrows up on top of Bumper Cave on Asmadi's side. Nice information. Now we know we don't need to go back there.
So, Kohrek cannot get hugged again by the eyeballs. So he's going to take this really safe. Oh.
That is rough. The bosses are not being kind today, and Kohrek deciding it's better to nope out, come back later. I'm hoping that blue potion was item number 3 in Ice Palace, and Kohrek knows it's just like a map, compass, or key on Cold Stare or something, and so it's safe for them to leave and be able to come back later. Not too much from a sick kid there. Gave us a couple of sticks. Forgot to put the little netting on it, so yeah. Usually would expect the whole net, not just the handle.
So, where do we go from here?
It might be time to dip pod, possibly.
Yeah, based on what we know from both runners and what they've seen, there's really not a whole lot that's been checked. I don't think we've seen what's in the purple chest.
Asmadi grabbed it earlier, I believe, while Kohrek was in Ice Palace or something. I don't remember being too overwhelmed by it. Overwhelmed's not the right word. Impressed, probably. Makes more sense.
And according to chat, pod was bow locked.
We already saw that? Wow. These runners must be going super fast then, if we both missed it.
Yeah, maybe I'm misreading chat on this one. I don't remember him going into either runner going into pod, but I'm bad, so it could have happened.
Well, at the very least, our runners will tell us where they're going next.
I think Kohrek is going to answer our question.
So let's just assume for now that chat is smarter than us and pod is bow locked. Does that mean Cold Stare has to have something?
I mean, there's Mire.
We did see Bombos and they have boots to bonk over, so that's true. Alright, confirming what chat told us, we are oblivious, and yep, we got a bow-locked pod here. Did Kohrek fill a bottle up with some potion?
Something in a bottle required the bomb, the big bomb. Some bombs in a bottle requires a big bomb.
And yes, we are seeing some potion glitch to get through the bow lock side of pod here. So we are going to get some new checks. They are sequence breaks for now, but we're going to find the bow eventually, so there could just as well be something valuable here.
Book and a small key to continue.
And this is the part of pod where we just get keys on keys on keys.
I'm not sure if that was intentional, but if it was, that was pretty smooth.
And after a few attempts, looks like Asmadi's opting to skip out on the Ice Palace bomb jump as they got low on health.
There's powder. There's probably our unique item that was in the dark.
Yeah, very well might be, yeah. Trading a key for a key in this room. Always a good deal.
Yeah, Kohrek is opting just to use the key. So where in ice did we find the big key?
I believe that was like the very first chest, wasn't it?
Okay.
Yeah, Asmadi's got that bottle, so they definitely got the big key. Oh, takes a death. That ice is slippery and leaves you vulnerable. Ouch.
And opting out of continuing in ice.
Got some flute sync. Let's see if they go to the same place. That'd be pretty interesting. And not so much. But Asmadi heading to Mire, as Kohrek is heading to... Oh, gonna use that powder. See what the Bat Cave's got for us.
Well, this powder is out of sequence. So whatever is here is also out of sequence on Kohrek's side.
Yeah, but another thing actually would have been as well. It looks... I didn't see it get picked up, but we have a fire rod now on Kohrek's side from the dark rooms of Pod, it would seem.
Well, that's certainly interesting. And we know that that fire rod is bow locked.
Yeah, for now, a lot of plays Kohrek is making are like very much plays that are like locked behind bow. I mean, Kohrek knows that they're going to get the bow eventually, so all of these things could be very useful. I mean, we have to go into desert to complete desert anyway. That's a good reason to go here. But yeah, technically we do see a lot of sequence breaking going on Kohrek's side just because of all those findings from a bow-locked pod. Seeing another one of those blue cane usable rooms here, the spikes in this little corner room of Misery Mire. And item number 1 of Desert Palace is a blue rupee. Let's see if we find the other item up here. It's going to be the big key, so we'll be seeing what's on the bonk torch, and that can be something useful.
We'll have to see where our 2 items inside Mire are. We know that at least one of them will be accessible, but without the red cane, we can't finish the dungeon. And what was that hit?
Magic mirror inside Misery Mire.
So we know Asmadi
that 5 times fast.
Or yeah, I won't even try. But now, all right. So we know the mirror is in here. Asmadi's play was correct.
That's if Asmadi can get to it. It could be red cane locked.
Which would then raise more questions than it would answer.
Very true. And there's the red boomerang in the big chest of desert. So Land Mollusk do not hold any items besides the pendant or crystal we will be finding and needing to acquire from them.
So there's a hint over here. Well, yep. Gonna go for it. Some cache is in Paradox Cave.
Well, we don't have to check any of the chests in there anymore, right? It's all cash, right?
Sure. Hey, at least we have Fire Rod for Landmolas.
And now that we know that the mirror is in Mire, I'm just holding my breath waiting for Asmadi to find it. I have this fear that it's just not going to turn up and it's going to be locked.
We're down to 1 check. Kohrek has to bust out the hammer. There we go. All right, moment of truth. Oh, there it is.
Gets to use it to nope out too, which is pretty quick, nice, and doesn't worry about a save and quit or a death warp.
So I think it's safe to assume I think Kohrek knows where he's going to go next.
For sure, and Asmadi smartly realizing, oh, there's a mirror check here before I jump right into desert. Let me just grab this checkerboard cave. And by knowing where they're going next, you meant Skull Woods with Fire Rod, right?
I suppose so. I mean, that makes sense though. You can finish it. Might as well.
We did get a quick map check there. I think I saw Swamp and Skull Woods were the two 5/6 crystals.
Yes, Turtle Rock was a pendant.
Asmadi reading that tile and being like, I already knew that. What the heck? That's like the second... Well, actually, we've seen a couple of useless tiles of redundancy. Look at that! See? Asmadi knowing how annoying it is. I love it!
That's, yeah, Asmadi definitely making his feelings known about that hit.
Now we know there's one more item back here in Skullwood, so Kohrek's going to try to beat Mothula first, and if Mothula drops an item, that last chest down there is completely irrelevant, and we don't need to grab it.
It's small things like that that really save you time when you're playing this randomizer.
For sure. So I'm just remembering how many non-dungeon items can be found within dungeons is a little small tidbit to be able to keep track of.
So in Swordless, that curtain is in fact open by default, so you don't need a sword in order to get to Mothula.
And low on magic, this is going to be an interesting fight, Swordless.
Does have a potion. You may not want to use it though. Yeah. That hitbox on that hammer is really small. Deceptively so.
Takes advantage of that half magic refill from the blue potion to whip out the fire rod once more. And Asmadi's heading into Landmolas as Mothula falls for Kohrek.
There's our big key.
That's probably the worst thing that's to be found in that exact spot, because now it's I could go to the big chest or I can check this one chest, and if it's just like a key or something in that one chest, then they have to go back to the big chest later. It's like, man, I could have just gone straight to the big chest, but they have no way of knowing. And I'm liking this bomb strat on Asmadi's side for Lamol. It's very interesting, though they're down to 2 bombs, so it doesn't seem to be going too well. The timing's definitely awkward with bombs.
So just a map in that chest.
We are full clearing Skullwoods. Except maybe that one chest that always has a key no matter what. And Asmadi showing us that as you said, the deceptive hitbox of that hammer just makes these Lamolas that just keep wiggling around so hard to time hits on.
Oh, these blue cane strats.
I mean, if it's free hits and you can keep avoiding the rocks, I don't blame him. It seems to be working. And just a green 20 rupee spot in the big chest of Skullwoods. That was the 4th sword check, I'm pretty sure, at this point. And we are out of swords, and Kohrek should theoretically have Butter Sword where there's not a swordless run.
So is the Mire was our key to Death Mountain, isn't it?
It would appear so, yeah.
Kohrek is probably wanting to double dip Mire, but he's probably have no choice at this point.
And finding their second item, Asmadi heads out of desert. Let's see where they're heading to next.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Asmadi is going to unlock the rest of Death Mountain.
You thinking that's where the bow's going to pop up in? Maybe in Hera or East Death Mountain or something like that?
Yeah, it would fit within the logic.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how like both of these runners have done desert now, but one did it in a like out of sequence and one did it in because so the vanilla entrance of going in by way of book was a sequence break because they got the book without bow, but Asmadi sneaking in the back door with the Mire was actually in logic. It's the kind of backwards thinking we get to do here in randomizers. Item number 1 for Hera, just a blue rupee, and Asmadi has to find a key of some sort up in the back here. A heart container in a chest requiring a specialist to unlock. Oh, that's the purple chest. Whoop-de-doo.
Thank you, game. So we don't have to do basement just yet in Hera.
Alright, 2 chests in this room. Got ourselves a compass and a glove in a... What did it say? I didn't read that.
Plain sight.
Ah, that was out on the pyramid ledge. You know, I always thought these hints are supposed to be pretty valuable, but all of them are like very much hindsight hints. It's kind of like, what the heck, you know?
I'd say the mirror hint was probably useful to Kohrek to some degree, but he was kind of forced to come here anyway.
Yep, and we found silvers in the Hera big chest. That is a fantastic find.
So we won't be hunting for those. Those are essentially required for swordless, just because getting in that 3-frame window hit on Ganon with the hammer is not easy. Lots of practice and frame buffering.
Unfortunately, that is the only place we will be seeing use of those silver arrows, given that we're in hard mode. Silver arrows do not do anything anywhere else besides on Ganon. And we got a key from Moldorm. That means we're heading to the basement. Or not. Oh no, wait, silver's the second item. What am I talking about? I'm going crazy. Pardon me.
The fairy just deludes. There we go. So Kohrek also knows what's up. So right now, either the hookshot or the bow would open up progression for our runners.
We're going to need to find Ether at some point, and that's the only medallion yet to be seen by either runner. Nothing too special there in Super Bunny Cave for Asmadi. But now we have a Hookshot Cave.
Yep, there's only one chest that you can logically get to. It's the southern chest right here. I don't think Asmadi is probably going to do any hovering here. Maybe. Oh. No. Tried it. Noping out. It's like probably one of the hardest minor glitches to do.
I'll give him an A for effort.
Yeah.
And Asmadi taking this loop-de-loop round spiral cave as Kohrek tries to set up a bomb jump to get their silvers from Tower of Hera. Gets across, grabs the silvers, ready to head up to Moldorm.
So right now, Bo would fix our logic issues. At least on Kohrek's side. And this hookshot would give us more checks that we haven't seen yet. Alright, Kohrek making quick work of Moldorm.
We do know one of these chests Asmadi's going to check is cash. Wasn't that one? Oh, there's the hookshot. All right.
Yeah, all right. Swamp's in play. Well, we'll see where the bow shows up.
So besides Hookshot, not too much value there, but I mean, I'm saying besides Hookshot, Hookshot is a lot of value, so yeah. And Asmadi trying to do a bomb jump, not getting across the gap, unfortunately. Gonna just push this block and head out on the top, on the lower level, which is actually the upper level because Paradox. But with Hookshot in hand, it's a good thing Asmadi's remembering to come back up here to Hookshot Cave. That would have been a couple of frustrating chests to leave behind if there's anything nice in those.
So, mushroom. A heart container. 2 heart containers. I mean, the mushroom is a quick check. But that's actually what we're going to see.
Now, what I'm wondering is if it doesn't pay off, is Asmadi gonna quit without saving to get that back in case Red Cane shows up to plan for a fake powder? Because Asmadi hasn't found powder yet. I think they're gonna take the Ice Rod. That's a good call.
Well, there's one of those items we don't have to hunt for. In fact, we got our 2 big items that could be almost anywhere: our silver arrows and our ice rod.
And you thinking Asmadi's ready to make full use of that hook shot here, heading down to southern part of Dark World?
I'd say it's time for everybody's favorite dungeon, as Kohrek also claims his hookshot. So right now we need to find either medallion, because we saw that as the requirement for Turtle Rock.
Correct.
We need to figure out where the bow is at. We also need some Mire for Turtle Rock and Misery Mire.
Oh,
The only
another
thing,
pink tile.
a piece of heart is held with the fishes. I think you're probably referring to catfish.
Sounds right.
So right now, the only item that could be inside GT right now would be either medallion.
Wouldn't that be a nasty possibility? That is one of the things that an all dungeon seed can force. If it's a pendant dungeon, you don't need it to get into Ganon's tower, but you do need it to beat the game eventually. So, yeah, could be in there.
Yeah, we have a lot of checks ahead of us, so we'll have to see what happens. I mean, as for the pedestal, I think pedestal is pretty much dead. Yeah, pedestal is dead. I don't see anything that it could be at this point.
I'm inclined to believe you there. I'm thinking we might have to find something here in Swamp just due to the fact that Asmadi has been staying in Logic, and the only thing that opened new locations was Hookshot. Maybe there might be a couple Mire locations we haven't seen yet, I'm not sure, but definitely something has to be found by Asmadi pretty soon here just to kind of Like, we're still waiting to see what's going to put Kohrek's pod sequence break into play, because that bow is yet to show up.
Well, Kohrek must be feeling better about his health situation since he decided to skip that heart piece.
Yeah, for sure must be. And it looks like Asmadi might be just a left side check we're getting first before heading to the back. Yeah, with 6 items in Swamp, definitely don't want to leave anything behind. So definitely a good play here. So that makes sense.
Might trap the spike, yep. I mean, left side's the only side to really go in Swamp, right?
That's what I hear. All right, and Kohrek getting that early book from the pod sequence break, not seeming to yield any sort of profit after checking both tablets. So Asmadi might check those later once they get the book from pod, but at least we know that's not giving Kohrek any sort of commanding lead over Asmadi due to anything huge from the sequence break.
Well, so far we're not really getting a whole lot out of Swamp. There has to be something here, though. Kohrek also learning what Catfish had.
And we haven't even found the big key yet in Swamp, so these runners may be forced to dip back in just to open that chest.
So there is a trick where if you push the statue all the way forward, you can then mash A, pick up the pot, and then just push the statue to the left. You'll see a lot of runners do that. You'll probably see Kohrek do that.
Yeah, those two objects kind of phase through each other. What is matter, right?
Because video games.
There it is!
Alright. That's pretty much one of the few places where it could have been, to be honest. So, but now our logic issues have been resolved once Kohrek also loots that bow.
And with Mire in hand, we do get to see a nice little double up routing of Pod and Eastern from these runners now, rather than having to take the entire journey up to the dungeons in both worlds. They can just get to Pod and then finish Pod, then Mire out to the light world and finish up Eastern. Oh, this is everyone's favorite menu boss.
Left, up, up. Down, down, left. Right, up. And repeat. So right now, we need the cane in order to get into Ganon's tower. And we still need the either medallion to finish the game.
I'm liking the double hookshot single hammer swing to get the double hit on these little poofy things. I'm not sure if I've ever seen it. It seems very optimal, though.
Yeah, it's a bit more precise. Oh, here's our ice rod.
You got one hit with the ice rod there?
Yeah, that's like the theme of Swordless, is that the hammer has a terrible hitbox.
Swamp dropping the red cane. Here we go.
All right, well. So that's crystal mode. That's even a thing. Well, it will be crystal mode for Kohrek.
Now, is Asmadi going to prioritize that bow find or the red cane find? I'd say probably there's more items to be found in Pot and Eastern, so head there before Mire, but let's see.
So Bo was in the back part of Swamp. And Argus had the red cane. So this is definitely a swamp that paid off.
And Kohrek decides to go Mire first.
You know, this also means that Mire was indeed a forced double dip.
And with that mirror in there, you're right, yeah. Yeah. I was trying to read that tile. I'd forgotten what Kohrek read on it earlier, but I think it wasn't anything. It was like some bombs and bottles, I think.
So Asmadi now has the book. This is the key right here. Yep.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing for Asmadi is if they want to do any plays with that book, I guess the only things they have left to do are the 2 tablets, but with the dungeons they've already done, both tablets are really far out of the way, so if they decide to gamble on those, that's going to be, 1, we know they're both useless, and 2, just extra time loss because they can't really route them into any nearby dungeons.
Well, so here the thing is that once Asmadi is finished here, he'll have the fire rod. So he'll be able to complete the rest of the crystal dungeons.
That is very true. They will be finding a good set of items to keep them busy dungeon-wise, so probably will be not thinking of Overworld too much. That's very true. Oh, 3 hearts going into this boss. They do have blue potions, so Kohrek does have some safety going in here. Oh, I'm gonna heal up, in fact. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, there's a safe spot right here where he's just gonna go ahead and unload arrows into the eyeballs. And has exactly 8 arrows left. Or Vitreous himself.
Calculated.
Yeah, as it's hard mode, you can't use the silver arrows. Asmadi finds the fire rod. So Asmadi is now in crystal mode.
Which, as you mentioned, does put Ether possibly within Ganon's tower.
I mean, based on what we've seen, that is very likely at this point.
Alright, Kohrek's heading back into ice. Looks like, gonna also do a little more inventory increase here. Making use of that cash. Asmadi making a good little health awareness, grabs 3 hearts before heading to this back section of pod to take on the this little bow-locked region. And something I just noticed, not only did Kohrek get a capacity upgrade, it also came with an entire quiver refill along with it, so now got 40 arrows in hand.
I think Kohrek's out for blood. He wants revenge on Cold Stare.
For sure, I don't blame him. All right, Asmadi with the first visit by either of these runners to Helmasaur King, about to take him down. The power of Hammer.
Bomb strats.
Or that works too.
I mean, you don't see this every day.
I guess Asmadi's thinking with all the use of the hammer, it could be getting a little dull, so you might as well give it a rest. Maybe take some time to sharpen it, or whatever you do to hammers to make them effective again.
It's not the item we were looking for. If Quake shows up in some of these locations where Kohrek hasn't checked yet, then that could put Asmadi in go mode and put him at actually quite the advantage.
Did you mean Ether there? Sorry.
Yeah, what did I say, Quake?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure
All right.
I was on the right thing there. It's all good.
It just, if you turn it...
No, I'm with you there. Yeah, it's just Quake and Ether are probably the same medallion, just you got to rotate at 90 degrees. Honestly, they already have Ether. They just have to turn their heads. Running out of magic, has to resort to hammer for these last few hits. Hopefully, doesn't get taken out this time. Cold Stare hits for so many hearts.
Take care. All right, he has a potion.
And good, brings the Fire Rod out again, too. And for those of you who are like me that failed once again to count items in dungeons, there couldn't have been anything in Cold Stare to begin with. It was just a compass.
All right, Asmadi's going to give us a look at... Did we already find 3 items in Eastern?
It's been so long, I'm not entirely sure. There was a bug net, I remember that. That's all I got.
It is a green pendant, so Sahashala will have maybe something.
We already have a map and compass in pocket, so as well as the big key. So yeah, this has to be an item up here. So we get a nice little 2-for-1 special. Yeah, so both of these runners are in like a little crystal cleanup mode real quick here. They are still going to have to both make time for Aga 1 at some point.
All right. So that was not our either medallion?
With the little sparklies in the way, Asmadi's going to be heading back to Sasrala via the Dark World, and then just hides under the little shrubs to Mire right in front of his door. Knock, knock. Who's there? Green pendant, green pendant. Who? Green pendant bombs. I don't get it.
Yeah, that joke bombed.
I deserve that. All right, Fire Rod in hand. I think Asmadi's ready for Skull Woods here.
So right now, just to recap, we are looking for the either medallion. We've checked almost everywhere. Really, right now, I think it could only really be in Ganon's tower. Or maybe some weird overworld location that we haven't seen yet.
We are running out of those overworld spots. I'm trying, like, the only thing I'm trying to think of, like, mirror spots or something, but the only mirror spot I can think of that wasn't checked was Graveyard Ledge, but a tile already told us there was nothing good there. And the chests in Aga's tower only gives us keys because we're not in key sanity mode right now. I like that Asmadi's stopping to grab a key there, saves on having to kill a mummy down the line. This makes it a little easier. Pyramid Fairy is an option. We will have that after grabbing this Skull Woods crystal.
I think we got hinted at it. It was a bottle and some bombs.
Oh, is that what that tile said way back in Palace of Darkness? Okay. Yeah, I'm looking through their inventory to see if there's any items they're missing that could lead to new locations as well, and that doesn't seem to be the case either.
All right, so let's see if Kohrek goes to GT. Well, after Eastern. By the way, sorry if I interrupted you.
You are fine.
That's right. This is Kohrek's first dip into Eastern. All right.
I saw Asmadi does have a blue potion if it does resort to that on this Mothula fight, but going for hammer for now. And one more whack, that did it. Mothula's down.
Yeah, I could definitely see Kohrek enter GT after he's done in Eastern. It's really would be the next logical play.
I believe so, because, like, we know they're out of locations. I'm pretty sure Kohrek might have actually checked all the overworld spots left at this point. There are a few Asmadis left behind due to things such as book. Getting book late and stuff like that, whereas Kohrek got it earlier from a sequence break. So, yeah, does put these runners in different spots for sure. I've always enjoyed seeing the use of bonk strats to get across that gap in the entrance to Misery Mire.
Yep, and it's required by logic. It could be required by logic. In this case, based on where we found the hookshot, it was required. Kohrek finds our bow catching nut.
So at this point, it's looking like Kohrek does have a bit of a lead here, given that this will be crystal number 7, whereas Asmadi finishing Mire still has to go and do the rest of Ice Palace.
Use the bomb to circumvent getting ported.
Definitely a good use there. Save you a little bit of world-changing time for sure.
Now, if he flutes to 1, then we know. All right, so it's pretty reasonable to suspect that we're going to be going to GT here. So go ahead and get your guesses in. If you are a subscriber of any speed gaming channel or have donated a cumulative total of at least 250 bits to any of those channels, you are eligible for the leaderboard. But regardless, we want you all to play, so get your numbers in right now. Where is that big key going to be?
I have a favorite spot myself. If I had to give it a number, it would be 3. I always hope for a bonk torch no matter what, though. But yeah, if I was putting it in chat, I would just put 3. But I'd rather just say bonk torch in general. You have a favorite spot you like going for?
I'd say 21, just because we don't want to subject people to tile room.
But you want to subject him to everything else. And ooh, Asmadi taking a death there.
So, right now we're actually looking for 2 items inside GT. So we're very likely going to full clear GT anyway, whether we like it or not.
That is very true, yeah.
And I could also see a scenario where if they find either, they may nope out, do Turtle Rock, and then come back and finish GT, just so they don't have to make the climb again.
Yeah, that is very possible for sure. I like how they Kohrek opted to use the ended up having to use the warp on top of T-Rock there, and just that little pedestal where you use ether just kind of taunts them just as they get ready to enter Ganon's castle. 1 dungeon short. Well, technically 2 dungeons short here, still without doing Aga Tower. 3 if you count Ganon's tower too.
All right, so chest number 1, some health, and a small key.
And looks like we're using that small key to head to right side.
No tile room yet. We'll probably wait for last. As Mondi is churning in the bomb, does he? I wonder if he doesn't remember the hint.
It's very possible. There are so many hints to keep track of that these runners have read, especially with so many of them being like hints of stuff they already knew. They were probably just like, you know, just getting frustrated to the hints that said, you know what, I'm just going to check it. I don't know. Might be worth asking Asmadi about afterwards, actually.
So this would be a bottle and bombs. There's items through number 6. All right, and what's number 7? A small key. I'm gonna go ahead and claim that.
Well, it was 8 key up there.
Chest 7. More bombs.
8's our big key.
8 is our big key, but we're gonna have to continue here.
No, we're not.
Boy. Nope. We're done here.
All right. That is a fantastic find for Kohrek. And with that, Kohrek is going back to do T-Rock first, then we'll be heading back to Ganon's tower afterwards. Definitely makes sense, because after beating Ganon's tower, you do get warped down to the pyramid after that little cutscene from Aga 2. So definitely smart routing going on here on Kohrek's side.
All right, and Dog was our winner with the correct answer was 8, and Dogdu was our closest guess with 7.
Well, Cape's an interesting find here to start a T-Rock. Alright, so we're going to have to find a key in at least one of these chests. There it is. And another key for good measure. And I'm liking the use of Mire to just kind of reset back to the entrance and start the dungeon anew, keys in hand, as Asmadi makes their way down to Cold Stair. And a big key in the chain chomp room. Definitely a good find there. We need to find it at some point. But, you know, sooner the better to get a little more confident getting your way through the dungeon. At the very least, it allows for being able to skip the vanilla big key chest, as we are able to instead just steal a key from the pokey and not use it to get there to the vanilla big key chest. And we saw use of magic powder there by Kohrek. Being hard mode, though, we don't get any fairies. We just get hearts. And Asmadi trying to take down this cold stair. It is down. Asmadi's got another compass and another crystal.
Where are you going, Kohrek?
Asmadi's going to get some more arrows.
Kohrek needs magic.
Yeah, this dungeon will do that to you.
Original game, it says right there, Sahasha will tell you that you should probably bring some magic potions with you.
Which is what Asmadi's prepping up with, getting a blue potion there from the potion shop. Now, with only one key in hand, is it possible that the big chest could have a small key and Kohrek is gambling here that Laser Bridge has a key?
Yes.
Uh-oh. I think with the kind of lead Kohrek has at the moment, they'll be safe, but it's still... Well, never mind, they got a key there. So, all is fine in the world of Kohrek, fortunately here.
Alright, well... Alright, gamble paid.
Crisis averted. A little interesting. After taking that earlier refill of magic, Kohrek didn't opt to take that other pit stop off to the right to get a magic refill in the dark room there. Gonna need some magic at some point in here, though. Though there is a refill in that room right before the boss.
Oh yeah, we'll be fine. We'll just get another lesson on just how terrible the hammer's hitbox is.
I think that firehead might have phased a little. I don't know. I have no idea how that ice shot missed.
Yeah, you got robbed. And you can't menu while the animation's happening. And it'll just be 5 hits to Trinex himself.
Asmadi getting a few powder hearts there. Get a little bit of health back before heading off to finish off Misery Mire. Definitely a smart play. So now Kohrek's heading for the pedestal, right?
Sure. I mean, what's an all dungeon seed without a pedestal pole? I don't think we even got a read of what was on it. The runners knew a long time ago that the pedestal was dead, so it's probably just money, like it usually is.
Say a magic refill, or... Yeah, looks like it.
I mean, he has a gauntlet up ahead. And
Oh, yeah.
basically what he's done is given himself essentially 1 full magic bar.
And Asmadi is saving on arrows on the little eyeballs, using the hammer to hit them so that they can use all the arrows for the final hits on the big eye. And with that down, Asmadi now has their entrance to Ganon's castle open, and they will be finding a big key and an ether pretty soon. And Kohrek finally gets to use that big key to head upstairs after finding it a bit of a while ago. I'm used to seeing runners like tank their way off across these spikes. Definitely a smart play to opt not to do so in hard mode here. Just double checking what floor Kohrek's on there real quick. And so Kohrek begins the gauntlet.
Making a decent amount of time so far.
Yeah, definitely getting a lot of quick kills.
Yeah, it's a little trickier without the sword, but if you're expert with the hammer.
Just ice skating around this room. That's very fun to see. Whee, there he goes. Oh, gotta watch out with 2 hearts, though. Oh, 3 now. Oh, 2 again. Uh-oh, 1. Might be too much play-by-play, I'm sorry. Alright, looks like Asmadi's heading to right side first. So probably going to find the big key in Ether in about the same amount of time as Kohrek did earlier.
That's a pretty convenient ferry.
Oh yeah, for sure. And on a room like that, it's like I always find getting that triple kill as well as the quad in this room, if possible, so satisfying. So like, it's a nice little reward for something so pretty. Although being swordless makes the quadra kill in this room much more troublesome for sure. Yeah, that ferry fortunately finding Kohrek some room to do a quick little fall off a pit abuse there. Unfortunately, Mr. Asmadi died there, but that's rough. Unless it was, or was it a death warp? I'm not sure. Couple more hearts for Kohrek, and then there's the magic refill down below. Even gonna check this chest for us. Nice blue rupee.
Thank you. Inquirer minds had to know. There's really not a whole lot that our runners could find at this point, though, in the upper part of GT.
Opening those chests in a much different order, but finds that big key and ether.
Okay, so Asmadi did grab the ether medallion. Okay.
Yeah, that was like one of the first chests in that room they checked. They got ether first, then the big key. Although interestingly, they're committing to Ganon's tower first, then they'll come back for T-Rock, I suppose. And it's geometry time. Get your protractors out. Getting some really nice hits with these bug net shots.
And there we go.
All right, Kohrek's almost there. Still has to go up the castle tower for Aga 1, though.
The staple of all dungeons, kill Aga 2 and then Aga 1.
I was going to say, since we're doing them backwards, I'll pronounce Aga backwards to sound like, we're doing it in the reverse order, but that's still Aga, so hooray for palindromes. And I'm not going to try his full name backwards, sorry.
Minga Aga? I don't know.
It's probably something like that.
The hammer hitbox. So in Key Sanity, you're more likely to see an earlier Aga play, just simply because if you have both keys, which can happen sometimes, you're going to want to clear this out because these two chests will have normal items in them. But in this case, it really doesn't matter a whole lot.
When I saw the... Go ahead.
You saw the twofer, right?
Yeah, I did. I saw that as they were also ice skating around. I find that room very amusing. Just all the slip sliding around they got going on. So for those in chat that are curious what Key Sanity is, since you brought it up there, Sinak, that is where basically they take all the maps, compasses, and keys that are typically found in dungeons, including the big keys, and they just get tossed around the world like any regular schmegular item. So you could find the Ganon's big key could be somewhere in Spiral Cave or something like that, and you could be trapped out of a dungeon because you got to find its key in a different dungeon or somewhere else entirely. So just adds an extra little bit of randomness and chaos and madness to the run. Got any guesses on how many blue balls we're going to see here?
3. That's the mathematically correct play.
Makes perfect sense. I want to see 0 just to give these runners a break. They have been at this for quite some time.
I mean, I've seen worse marathon seeds, but this is kind of up there. So that's a miss. 1 blue ball. Ha ha ha.
See Asmadi opting not to use the red cane in this room, trying to conserve their magic a bit. Makes sense with the torches they have to light up ahead.
2 blue ball. Ha ha ha. 3 blue ball. Ha ha ha. And down goes Aga 1.
So even with that miss, your probability wins out.
It's like 31% or something like that. They were talking about it in the Discord.
And Ganon dropping them sick burns. Not even thinking inside the box. Why bother thinking outside?
So in swordless mode, Ganon only takes damage from the hammer instead of the sword. The vanilla game, that's not like that. You can't use the hammer to damage Ganon. Certainly makes things a bit more interesting because, as the theme of the night is, hammer and hitboxes don't really, they're not really that much words.
They're not that much good, I think is what you were trying to say.
Yeah, there we go. No.
That hurts. That's not what you want to see happen after being at it for this long already.
Yeah. I mean, for a hard mode seed.
Definitely, all things
mode,
considered, they're doing pretty good time-wise, but like in general, having to sit in front of a randomizer for 2 hours plus, it just starts to become a little draining after some time. That could be just me, though. Maybe everyone else has the stamina of someone greater than being able to last 2 hours of randomizer.
So Kohrek finds a sweet spot there, but he's gonna have to. Yeah, so he can pull against the walls there with the cape on to avoid taking damage.
And Asmadi going after Aga 2 here, trying to get some nice bug net hits on him.
It is really easy to get hugged by Ganon.
Oh, because of that hitbox you were talking about?
Yeah, the hitboxes. Alright, so this is the only room in hard mode where you can use the silver arrows. And there's all 4 of our hits against Ganon. Now, if he can manage to get across the bridge without falling, we should have
I don't know, this is a pretty hard part of the run, I gotta say.
I've seen runners do it. Alright, and Kohrek has finished this race.
Get your GGs in chat for Kohrek.
Yep. Kohrek has an official SRL time of 2 hours, 13 minutes, 57 seconds. So, I think Asmadi is missing 2 dungeons.
Yeah, Aga 1 as well as T-Rock here.
Yeah, and Ganon will even he'll call you a dingus too. I think he's just showing off right now. He knows he's lost, so. Yeah, and AsmadiGames has forfeit the race.
Still get your GGs in chat for Asmadi for putting on a very great race here. Very insane to watch and very entertaining for sure.
All right, we're joined by Kohrek and AsmadiGames. GG to the both of you.
GG's.
GG. How are the two of you feeling after that seed?
I
mean, I'm feeling
Yep.
tired, tilted, whatever. I'm glad it's over.
That's true. The seed is done and it can't come back. Oh no, it just started again. Oh, so fun fact, that was my first ever swordless seed, and went pretty okay.
Yeah, like I could not have guessed that. I'll be honest. Like I'll say there are probably some weird troubles where the hammer's hitbox was messing with you, but I mean, it would mess with everyone at some point anyway. I am curious at the end, was that like, did you know you were going into Ganon without finishing everything, or was that a bit of an autopilot?
Oh yeah, Kohrek got done right when I finished Aga 2.
Oh, okay, so like, what the heck? I'll just drop in, let's have some fun.
Yeah. Yeah, the surprise to me was I'm doing all this practice. I'm like, oh, I'll do cold stare with hammer, and I didn't practice landmow because landmow's easy, right? Nope.
You'd think that, yeah, but no, for sure, it's just that hammer. It's cruel.
It's ugly.
What about those tiles? I feel like by the time either of you had read any tile, you had already acquired the item it was hinting at every single time. I think, Asmadi, didn't you like throw a bomb at the boots one? Or the
Yeah,
mirror one is what it was.
I left the room, went back in to bomb it because I was so angry.
I actually got the mirror hint when I didn't have the mirror because I sequence broke around like 5 items. Well, I didn't know it was 5 items at the time. I thought it was just the bow, but there was a sequence there for the bow.
Yeah, that was a huge sequence break, and I think right as you read the tile, Asmadi was in Misery Mire, so we were like fingers crossed, hoping that he would find the mirror, and it wasn't locked by the red cane, and he had to get it on the boss. And then they found it in the very last chest, the big chest. So that was all good.
Yeah, that part wasn't bad. It was the early seed where we were just like, I'm assuming we both ran around for approximately ever trying to find any progression.
Yeah, it seemed like Kakariko had a ton of stuff in the castle, and then it was just nothing. I forget what the next thing. Oh, the mitts on the pyramid, because obviously that's what it would be.
Oh yeah, I did that so late.
Yeah, pyramid mitts, and that led you into Mire for the mirror. And then, where were boots again? Do you remember?
Boots were in an escape?
That sounds right. Yeah. So finding those boots, I think boots was like that got to the flute, which was a really early flute to find. It was like, and then it was like what 2-3 minutes in, and you already had Dark World access, but you had so low health. Were you like, when you saw that Dark World access, were you like, yay, I have it, but I don't want to die, so let me stay away for now?
I mean, kind of. So, like, when I route something, I generally just try to think, what am I going to possibly not have to do in this seed? And South Shore is something you're always going to have to do, like 99% of the time. So I could have jumped in the Village of Outcasts, but there really was no reason to. Like, it wasn't going anywhere. I could go back at any point, it's fine.
Yeah, if it wasn't an all dungeon seed, I probably would have been tempted more to jump into the Dark World. But I'm like, I'm gonna have to check everything anyways, and I have access to everything. I have boots, I have the flute. Might as well go and do all Light World checks while I'm here. Maybe get a 5th heart.
Yeah, I think it was a point where both of you, like, health really was a factor, especially being hard mode. I think you each left at least one boss behind that you had to go back and get your revenge on later. Yeah, I'm curious, how much experience the two of you have on hard mode seeds like this? I know swordless is an extra layer on top of it, but just kind of focusing on hard.
I mean, for me, hard mode is fine. It's really the swordless that does it.
Yeah, I've done a few hard mode seeds. The only one that really buried me was when I had to do Dark Mire on hard mode, and I ran out of magic in the basement. That was a bad time.
Yeah, that sounds gross.
So the note here on your match says that Kohrek, you vetoed Ganon, and Asmadi, you vetoed Standard. Do you want to care to elaborate on why you made both of those decisions?
I vetoed Standard because if it's Standard, it can't be... Randomizer's not interesting, and it can't be inverted. So I wanted the most interesting we could have.
I mean, I veto Defeat Ganon just because it's... my record on Defeat Ganon is, I believe... Well, I know in all dungeons I've lost once and won every other time. So I just do better when I can focus on efficient routing rather than do I skip this or not.
Yeah, because once you turn on all dungeons, that makes every check a lot more valuable just because Go mode needs so many more things. Asmadi, I do have a quick question for you. When you
Yes.
we noted the Pyramid Fairy, I believe there was a hint that said in Pod that Pyramid Fairy led to bombs in a bottle.
Yes, I wanted the bottle.
So you did all that for the bottle. Okay, so
Yes.
that was intentional. I was wondering if you had forgotten. Okay.
No, I mean, at that point, I knew I was like a billion miles behind, so I'm like, I'll go get the bottle so I will die less. And then I did the probably first ever randomizer dump into the red potion cave on Dark Death Mountain.
Maybe it happens. But the one thing you actually mentioned there brings up a question I have for Kohrek. Was there any point where you thought, like, when you got a certain item, like, oh shoot, I might be behind or anything like that? Or were you feeling confident the whole time? What was kind of going through your mind at different moments?
I was pretty much on tilt from my cold stare death till the end of the seed, so that was like almost an hour and a half. But I mean, coming into this match, Asmadi is, I think, the 6th seeding group in our group.
Yes.
But I think he's gotten wins against Lunchtime in the 2nd group and Dustin in the 3rd group. So that's a really impressive record in this tournament for somebody coming in from that bottom group. So I was not taking this for granted whatsoever. And once those things started happening to me, I was almost resigned to be like, all right, well, I guess this is happening to me too, and it's fine because he's a great opponent.
Yeah, I got a couple of lucky breaks early on, which was nice. I mean, I came in ranked 100th out of 96, so I shouldn't have even been in. But it's been fun. I have enjoyed this tournament a lot.
Sinek, you got any questions for these runners that I'm leaving out?
No, I think that pretty much covers most of it. Have either of you scheduled any more matches?
This was my 13th. I have 2 more, and the 14th match I have against Lunchtime on Friday at 1 p.m. And my last match is against Dustin on Saturday at 10 a.m.
Yeah, I got 2 more on Wednesday. I think Lunchtime in the afternoon, appropriately, and then against Weighty Words in the evening, where he will finish in 12 minutes, and I'll be like, oh no, how'd that happen?
Sounds like you guys have some fun times ahead of you there.
So, I think we could probably wrap up here. Either of you have any final thoughts?
I just want to say thank you for the commentary and everybody out there for watching. At least I hope it was entertaining, even if we we both were having a little bit of a rough time with it.
Yeah, I'm assuming for like the early part of the race anyways, it probably looked like it was anybody's game just because we must have been buried for, I don't know, 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, something like that. But don't worry, your rough times is our enjoyment as viewers and commentators. So it all works out for us.
Well, thanks so much for commentating and everybody for watching.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, that being said, we still have one more match that's still being played out tonight. On Speed Gaming 5, let me pull up the schedule. That is ZZZ Cube versus Glan. That's about an hour and a half in. And that's it for tonight. Am I missing anything else here?
I think with respect to Randomizer tonight, that seems like it's about it. But there's always plenty more to watch on Speed Gaming. There's more races always coming down the line. Always enjoy you viewers sticking around. Be sure to follow the Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2 through 5 or 6 or many channels they have these days always have some exciting races, not even just Link to the Past Randomizer. They got plenty of other tournaments going on. Keep an eye out for, and yeah, keep an eye out for more of this tournament. It is definitely an exciting one with different modes from race to race and seeing how the different runners adapt to different categories that are thrown at them. It's just a blast to watch. So yeah, on that note, thanks everyone again for stopping by. I have been Xander Robotnik.
And I've been Sinak.
And we thank you all for watching and have a good night.